All right, so let's start taking a look at our pathways of aerobic respiration with an overview. Let's begin with our equation. The equation of cellular respiration, aerobic cellular respiration, is C6H12O6 with 6 oxygen is going to yield 6 carbon dioxide that are waste. It's going to yield 6 water. And it's going to produce energy, and this energy is going to be in the form of ATP. We'll put actual numbers with this ATP later. If you look carefully, this should look super familiar. Photosynthesis is actually the reverse of this. So photosynthesis, we start with our water and carbon dioxide. With the addition of sunlight, we produce oxygen and sugar. So when it comes to memorizing this, you're halfway done. All right, so if we are starting this whole process with glucose. This is our glucose molecule. It is that C6H12O6. And this glucose molecule, we already know, is going to go to a pathway called glycolysis. We just covered that. And glycolysis is going to result in the production of ATP, limited numbers, 2 ATP that are net. But it's also going to produce a molecule called pyruvic acid. And that pyruvic acid is going to go on to the mitochondria, where it's going to be used by a Krebs cycle. So let's draw in a mitochondria here. And we will put our Krebs cycle in, which is going to look a lot like the Calvin cycle did in the photosynthesis. It's just going to be showing us a circle. This is our Krebs cycle. It is also called the citric acid cycle. We'll see why later. And that pyruvic acid is going to make its way to the Krebs cycle with a little stop beforehand. We also made some electron carriers before, and those electron carriers are going to head over to our electron transport chain, which is going to be occurring in our cristae, or the inner membrane here. So we can add some of that in. Well, our Krebs cycle is going to be happening over here in what's called the matrix. Okay, so if this is our mitochondria, we can include the cristae along the outside, or what represents the cristae. And our Krebs cycle will happen in the matrix, and our electron transport chain over here is going to happen in the cristae. So in these membranes right here. We had sent NADH from glycolysis over to the electron transport chain. Both the Krebs cycle and the electron transport chain are going to produce ATP. The Krebs cycle is going to produce a small amount of ATP in the process of breaking down this pyruvic acid, but it is going to be responsible for sending more electron carriers that are produced. And those electron carriers are going to be called NADH, and a new one, FADH2. And these come from the Calvin cycle, and they are going to go directly to the electron transport chain. They're going to be carrying a lot of high energy electrons, which the electron transport chain is going to use to synthesize quite a bit of ATP. And a lot of these two cycles is going to look really familiar. It's going to look a lot like photosynthesis backwards. These molecules here in our equation, we had, let me scooch this down, the oxygen is necessary, and we're going to produce water and carbon dioxide as byproducts. So the carbon dioxide, if you take a guess, is going to come off of our Krebs cycle as a waste product. So CO2 is going to be a waste product of the Krebs cycle, and water is actually going to be a waste product of the electron transport chain. Oxygen is going to be used in the electron transport chain, and water is going to be given off. All right, maybe you can start to imagine how that's going to happen.